Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Season 2 of the Multiverse of Madness podcast. I'm Trent.
I'm Beau.
And today, this one kind of feeds off of, our previous episode. I mean, it has something to do with, movies that are great. But this is less subjective and more objective.
As much as you can.
As much as we could. And
really there is no such thing as objectivity. Objectively the best movie of all time.
Yes. We're talking, yes.
But this is our personal opinions, taking our personal bias. We're trying to take our personal biases out. Things like that.
Yeah, we're trying to be general with it. What we believe are the top 10 greatest movies ever made. Again, this is not definite. This is just two underqualified people. I feel like you're more set up for this than I am. But, don't look at my list. This is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I'm crying. So, since I led in with the last episode, you want to lead in?
Yeah. I'm going to start with... what do I want to start with? I'll start with the top.
Okay.
The Shining.
We should specify this is not in any...
Yeah, no particular order.
Yes, this is just
10 movies that we think would be the greatest films of all time. This is kind of, for me... I started thinking about this because of the Sight and Sound list. I tried texting you about it and you didn't answer me.
I mean, I know what you meant by that. And I was late at night.
No, you're good. I'm just giving you crap because, I'm going to throw you on blast.
I'm a bad friend, I know.
You are a bad friend.
Well, what's the Sight and Sound list?
So basically, Sight and Sound is every 10 years they do the top 100 best films of all time. And it's critics and directors, both. Mm-hmm. It's a very prestigious list. Lots of artsy-fartsy films. But this got me thinking. Basically, what every person that gets invited to the list submits 10 films to be on the list, and they aggregate them. So
they get them really mad.
Huh?
I was making a joke. It was because they aggravate them. No, but I know you said aggregate.
Aggregate. So this was my response to that. I wanted to get an idea of what my personal picks would be if I ever get invited, but I probably won't.
Beau's Regards has submitted.
Starting at number, and no particular order. My first pick is The Shining. I think it's the greatest horror film ever made. It's not my favorite, but it's freaking great. Mm-hmm. It's Stanley Kubrick at his best, Jack Nicholson at his best, Shelley Duvall at her best. Even the Johnny, I don't know the actor's name, but
talking about Danny.
Danny. The guy that plays.
What does Danny?
I can't remember his name either, but it's so good. I think about it a lot. It's just whenever I think of a great horror film, it's got to be The Shining. It's that, or maybe Jaws, or something like that. But The Shining. But you're up.
So again, no particular order. I'm just gonna admit it. It's Spider-Man 2. That's the first movie I put down because I was thinking I want to have a reason why all these movies are on here. This is, I think, the definitive one of the best superhero movie ever made. Now, for those of you that know me, know that of the Sam Raimi trilogy, the first one's my personal favorite, but Spider-Man 2 is a really good movie. It's great. It's better, and I'll admit that it's better, but I still have my personal favorite that I have. And Spider-Man 2, it was one of the first superhero movies that made people realize this can be award-winning material. And I very nearly put two Batman. I very nearly considered two Batman movies, The Dark Knight and The Batman. Something in the way into Spider-Man 2. It prevented that from getting on here. Because as good as those movies are, I think this was the first superhero movie. Superman, maybe the first Superman, that could have also was for consideration because that made you believe a man could fly. But
Blade.
What?
It was Blade. X-Men.
That one's, yeah. But I don't know. I think Spider-Man 2, I keep saying Spider-Man 2.
Spooderman.
Sam Raimi's another really good director out there. And
great.
I just think, because I think...
Evil Dead 2, great horror film.
Yeah, Evil Dead 2, Drag Me to Hell.
Haven't seen it.
Multiverse of Madness was actually good. I don't care what people think. But
it was mid.
His direction.
It's a mid horror film. Not a horror film. It's a mid.
His direction film. Was unique for a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
But I think, because again, I think Spider-Man 2 it was one of the first big superhero movies that made you believe it could be a serious art form. I mean, there are some things I dislike about it, like Mary Jane's character arc. I just don't think she's like at her best in this movie. But other than that, the train scene that where they're all carrying him around, and you know, it's just a really emotional moment. It's like because Sam Raimi's a fan of Spider-Man, he understands the character, and I think that helps when the director understands the source material. Oh, he also did Darkman. I always forget about those movies. Darkman.
I've never seen it.
It's where Liam Neeson gets blown up in a lab and he becomes Darkman.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah. The best superhero movie ever made. That's why it's on the list for me.
Okay. I do not have a superhero film on here, but that's still okay.
Yeah.
My number 2, I guess, is The Social Network. Best biopic ever made.
Sorry, my Prada's at the cleaners.
Oh, my FU flip flops and
my hoodie.
You
pretentious D-bag.
Yeah. Andrew Garfield.
Andy Garfield.
David Fincher directs the heck out of that movie. It's funny, I've actually got 2 David Fincher films on here. Which is kind of crazy, because I never thought of David Fincher being my favorite director, but maybe he is. Maybe he's my pick for best director. Who knows? But Social Network.
You know that meme where it's like that guy's looking over his shoulder at the other woman while he's with his girlfriend? I'm imagining photoshopping your face over the guy, Edgar Wright's face over your girlfriend, and then the other girl walking by, David Fincher.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. It took me a second to get there, but I got it.
Yeah.
Social Network is just so good, dude. It's the best biopic ever written. If there's only 3 or 4 movies from the 2010s made it onto the Sight and Sound list, this was one that should have made it on there. Obviously, I think all these should have been on there. The Social Network should have been on there. It's just so well directed. The score is amazing. Aaron Sorkin wrote the hell out of it. It is just so good.
It shows how good Michael Cera is. No, that's not Michael Cera. I get them confused.
Jesse Eisenberg?
Jesse Eisenberg. Because you can't. Can you fault me for that?
No. Yes, I can.
But they look and act so similar. You know, that's gonna piss someone off. I'm sorry, but people like Jesse Eisenberg and Michael Cera, you know, they have that really wormy, awkward kind of antisocial gist about them. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should be.
But I don't know why I said Michael Cera. But sorry. It's
what's next for you?
All right, I put down The Lion King, which I think is
okay.
I think it is the best animated movie ever.
I disagree.
I mean, I mean, this was the first animated this for a while. I was thinking was gonna be on my personal favorites list because it's the story of Hamlet. No spoilers for later. It's the story of Hamlet but told with lions, basically. But it's just. I think this is part of the Disney Renaissance.
It is.
So, and the animation in it is beautiful. The music, the direction. I think the characters.
Be a mighty king, so enemies beware.
No. Can we? All right, no. If we're gonna talk about songs from the movie, can we just go ahead and mention "Be Prepared"? One of the greatest villain songs that they cut from the live-action remake, which was
in there.
Not really.
It's in there.
It's kind of, but not really.
Not really. The live-action remake is garbage.
Yes,
so
it is.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, this live-action is garbage. The original is the way to go. I think it's one of the. It probably isn't the best animated movie, but it's one of the best. And I think it's the first one that came to. I was thinking of different categories like best superhero, best sci-fi, best action, best. I actually don't have an action movie on here. Best animated movie for me.
Spider-Man and a different movie. That one.
Oh. Yeah, but I don't think of them as action movies. First off, I think more of whatever. All right, agree to disagree. I'm just.
Okay, so
The Lion King.
Next up, number 3, another David Fincher film, Seven. This is the only movie that's on both of my lists. I already talked about it a lot on my other list. I'm not going to talk about this now. Watch our other video to find out my opinions on Seven.
Ooh, or listen.
Yeah. Yeah, shut up.
It's more of a.
I'm going to stab you with my spoon.
A blunt instrument.
But no. Seven is amazing. I love it so much. It's another type of movie I want to make. Is I want to make a great murder mystery. But not murder mystery. It's just a suspense thriller. I don't know. Anyway, go up. You're next.
Star Wars: A New Hope specifically is on. Well, I guess it technically was just Star Wars. It was only It was retroactively labeled A New Hope and all that jazz. But I think I put this here as like the quintessential sci-fi movie. Again, I think The Thing, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and Back to the Future, they're all my personal favorites for different reasons. But A New Hope shows its age, but I think it's still it's one of the greatest sci-fi stories ever told.
Yeah, I think it's not my favorite. My personal pick is actually my next one. But I think it's really great. I just think The Last Jedi is better. I think The Last Jedi is way better than Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
I know you're a defender of that, but like, okay.
I think The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars film.
All right. I'll let you have that opinion.
Yep.
Well, I was debating between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. I was like 50-50 on both, but I'm like, Empire Strikes Back.
Empire's better.
It is better, but the ending's like not. It leaves you on a bittersweet note. It's definitely sequel bait.
That's the point.
But like the first
it's
one, A New Hope could be a standalone movie on its own, you know?
I guess.
So it's just, I guess that was my reasoning. It's just more of a satisfying movie-going experience.
That's fair.
All right.
So my next number 4 is actually just my number 1. It's like if I were to rank these, this would be my number 1 pick. Arrival. I think it's the best science fiction film ever made.
Arrival?
Yeah. Have you seen it?
I thought you said Arrival.
Arrival.
Have
you seen it?
I think. Could you give me like
aliens come to Earth and they're trying to communicate with, it's like a linguist trying to learn their language, and Amy Adams is in it, Jeremy Renner's in it.
No, I don't think I've seen
Forrest Whitaker. You would love it. It's based on a short story, and I need to read a short story. I actually own it. But anyway, it is life changing. I don't want to get into it, but it is every aspect of science fiction. It's the best version of. I don't want to get into spoilers because you haven't seen it, so I'm not going to. But you would love this movie.
Sorry, there's a song playing outside of the cafe.
Stacey's mom's playing, and I love that song.
Yes, I'm surprised they added that to the playlist. But I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. Arrival is just so good, and I'm very excited for you to see it. I think you'd love it. I think you'll like it. I think it'll take Everything Everywhere's place in your favorite movies.
It's a bold claim.
That's my guess.
It sounds good. It sounds like it'd be like amazing.
It's pretty amazing. Right. Okay, what's your number 5?
Number
4.
My number 4? Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
The Shawshank Redemption.
I revisited it recently, and it's...
I don't think I need to elaborate.
No. Go ahead. If you want to, go ahead.
It's just... It took place... Well, if I were to have honorable mentions, I was debating Forrest Gump, but I know it's not really like... I know it's like... Not really considered like... I strongly disagree. It's not highbrow cinema, definitely.
It's not highbrow, but it's just not good.
It has its fans, and like I remember watching it, liking it, but like the more I considered it, I was like, it's just kind of a hokey movie, and I'm also kind of over Tom Hanks at this point. He's been in everything these days.
What are you not excited for A Man Called Otto? That's Disney movie.
It's the I remember what that one was. I saw a trailer for a while ago. I forgot it. He's like a
grouchy man. Yeah.
But The Shawshank Redemption, I think, just does better. I think it's a really good history piece, timepiece. I don't know what the correct term is for it. It's a good prison movie. It just shows it shows the corruption, it's just like
another Morgan Freeman.
It's a very triumphant movie. Morgan Freeman, yes.
Yeah. It has one of my favorite endings of the movie. The monologue where I can't remember his name, but the main character is talking about I hope to see you, and I hope, and he ends it on I hope.
Yeah, hope is a big element of it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. He crawled through 5 miles of sewage. All right, sorry.
Number 5 for me is my favorite animated film, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh, I didn't even think of that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Get French fries.
Yeah. The sausage fingers.
Oh no, I hate it now.
Fantastic Mr. Fox is, Wes Anderson at his best. Okay. If we're doing my favorite Wes Anderson film, it is Bottle Rocket. However, Fantastic Mr. Fox is his best film.
It's weird, but it's good.
It's weird. I feel so, and then I'm making the motion that he makes in the movie different.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie so much, and I think this maybe is like my most biased film, like my most biased opinion on here.
I need to give that a rewatch, honestly.
It's really good. I rewatched it pretty recently. And it works. I think there's another one where I prefer Isle of Dogs, but Mr. Fox is a better movie. I love Isle of Dogs so much.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, you would love it.
Wes Anderson's he's a very out there director, you know? Yeah. A lot of his stories
Not
are like...
really. He's pretty accessible.
I mean, yeah, but like, those two films...
He's weird, but he's not out there. He's really accessible.
Yeah, I guess that's what I should have let, but...
What's your number 5?
Oh, you know what? I just realized, for my favorite movies, I forgot Kubo. I forgot even
to
get
there.
Kubo and the Two Strings would have been on.
That's good.
Alright, but this one, it falls under the umbrella of horror. But I put this on here because Hitchcock hit himself. I think Hitchcock alone deserves like a kind of a...
I have Hitchcock spot. I have a Hitchcock movie on here.
Yeah. I think Hitchcock's such a revolutionary director. Psycho.
Yeah.
If not for that iconic scene alone in the shower and everything, where even though it was shot in black and white...
The first shot of a toilet.
What?
The first shot of a toilet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that and also like everyone swears that even though it's black and white, you could see the blood was like red going down that drain is what everyone... Because like... This and another horror movie that I have on this list, spoilers.
Yeah.
They make you like believe and see things that aren't truly happening there. It's more or less, it's up to you to connect the dots with your mind.
I actually have the theatrical cut.
You have the theatrical cut?
Yeah. Because the cut that everyone's seeing is not a theatrical cut.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But I should have done my research a little bit more on that.
No, you're good. Because I bought a Alfred Hitchcock collection on 4K. Where it came with Psycho, Rear Window, The Birds, and Vertigo. So like his 4 greats, basically.
I'm starting to think maybe The Birds should have been on it. Whatever.
I haven't seen The Birds or Vertigo.
I think Psycho's. I think that's more people talk about that as a Hitchcock classic. So.
Yeah, I think it's probably the most well known and the most like classic one. It's not my favorite. My favorite is the one I'm still on this list. Yeah, it's the most parodied. It's probably one of the most parodied films ever.
Yeah, I think that's what cements it as a legacy-defining classic.
For sure.
All right, your number 6. Oh wait, yeah, you're number 6. You're ahead of me.
Number 6 is WALL-E,
WALL-E,
which is my favorite Disney movie.
Once again, I should have considered that, but
because I want Disney. As much as love them or hate them, they are a massive juggernaut in the film industry. And I think it'd be a shame not to put a Disney film on your list.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree. I disagree with that. What I just said. Never mind. WALL-E is it's so good. It's such an environmental message. It's the first Disney movie to be entered into the Criterion Collection. I own it now. I'm so excited. I love it so much.
Sounds like a good time.
It's a beautiful cover. I'll have to show you it. I think it's in my car.
I remember at the time I saw it as a kid, I thought it was alright, but it went over my head.
Yeah.
But like now as an adult.
It's like, how do you make, like, it's literally, how do you make a kid's movie where the first 40, 50 minutes are all silent?
I know.
It's just music. It's so good. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Put on your sunshine clothes, there's lots of world out there. That's
okay,
the question I remember. Alright, my number 6. Arguably, I think it's one of the best stories ever told, just in general, Hamlet. I read this in my sophomore year of high school because I took honors English because I'm a I likes English. I like writing and all that. And Hamlet ticked all the boxes for me. It had romance. It had action. I think that's the slogan everyone says for Hamlet. It's got everything.
Yeah.
It's got romance. It's got drama. It's got action. It's got twists and comedy. And again, it's longer than... I can't think of a simile that's appropriate for this show. But it's a very long story to get into. I remember reading it, loving it. I thought the movie was going to be like a watered down version that would be like 85 years. But Kenneth Branagh, that's the version I'm talking about. 1996, Kenneth Branagh. Wow.
Branagh.
What?
It's like Branagh.
Branagh.
Yeah, you know it's in a G.
Sorry, Kenneth.
Kenny V.
He stars and directs Hamlet, which, Hamlet's supposed to be a college student, and he's like 30 or 40 when this movie came out. He's like older than like college age. So that kind of like, And it's also not... It's more of a Victorian setting, even though the original was supposed to take place in like the original colonial times. But even still, I think this movie captures like It's the closest I've seen to like capturing that original kind of.
Yeah, I mean it's Shakespeare, so it's got to be a classic.
Yes, I think that's why. Because like Shakespeare, I think he was ahead of his time as a writer.
Yeah.
And again, it takes a while because I remember one of the first Shakespeare stories I read was Caesar, Julius Caesar, and the dialogue and how everything is written can go over your head because it's just very linguistic and like over the top. So, but Hamlet, I think, was the first Shakespeare story that ticked all the boxes for me. And this movie was like, it's really good.
I have a Shakespeare story in here.
You do?
It's a Romeo and Juliet adaptation.
Oh, all right.
But we'll see in a second.
You got it. What's your number 7?
7? No, this is number 7, yeah. Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
All right.
It's a French film. It's very gay. I love it. It's also, other than like the opening scene, there's like no men in it, which is really great. It's just women being women.
It is called A Portrait of a Woman on Fire.
A Lady on Fire.
Lady on Fire. I immediately botched it.
Yep, you suck.
I am just the worst. I don't know why I host this podcast.
You shouldn't.
Hey, man.
Love you.
Thank you.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire is just so good. It's romantic. It's full of longing. It's some of the greatest performances I've ever seen. It's just so good. It's hard to really get into it because it's a moment you have to really see to feel. It's about feelings, and it's kind of hard to just describe how I feel about this movie because it's so you're in the moment watching that film. But yeah, that's all I got to say.
All right, my number 7, Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
I mean, this could fall under the umbrella for animation as well, but I more or less put it on here because it's like, it's
the second best Toy Story movie.
The second best?
I like Toy Story 4 more.
I still didn't. I thought that's the one where like I put this on here as like the best sequel.
Okay.
Like that, like because I think most sequels are kind of quick cash in grabs, and you might be thinking, well, wasn't Spider-Man 2 on your list? And like that is a sequel, but like I put it on there for different reasons.
Star Wars is also a sequel. Come on.
No, yeah, technically,
retrospectively.
Yep. What are we doing? But I don't. Toy Story 2 is like. I think it's better. It's just better than the first. You know, it raises the stakes.
I don't like
it has more. The first one's. It has its place in history. You don't like it?
It's important. It's an important film. I just don't like it.
But yeah, the sequel is just better. It raises the stakes. Has more characters, more serious moments. I remember when I was finally old enough to like pick up on those moments. The "When She Loved Me" music video montage of Jesse getting donated. It's donated. It actually tugs at the heartstrings a little bit.
That's one of the best pictures I've ever seen.
Toy Story 3 was nearly put on here as like that. I was debating, do I do 3 or do I do 2? Because I remember 3, I actually was crying when they were about to accept their fate in that incinerator. But I was like, Toy Story.
Well, no, they accepted it.
Yeah,
they weren't about to do nothing. They accepted it.
They were about to die. Yeah. But at the end, I was like, Toy Story 2. I think just
Toy Story 2 is better.
Yeah, it's just a better.
I prefer Toy Story 4.
I think Toy Story 3 can be a little melodramatic. I don't know if I'm using that term right, but it's like
it's also a heist film, which is interesting.
It is, yeah. So it's like it's intercut with that.
Toy Story 3 is great. I just prefer Toy Story 4, 2, and 4.
I still haven't seen Toy Story 4 because that's the part. That's the movie where I'm like, that's Toy Story 3 was a perfect ending. That's the cheap cash-in sequel.
Huh.
They can make shorts all they want telling side stories, but I don't need another feature length. All right, well, like
you're just wrong.
Fine, I'll do it then. I'll be wrong all the time. All right,
no.
You're number 8.
This is my Hitchcock. Rear Window.
Oh, that's a. Is that the one where the guy's looking and he sees like a crime going down?
Yeah, he sees a murder. Well, he thinks he sees a murder.
That's a classic trope that's been adapted in many things.
Yeah. Rear Window is just so good. I'm banging a spoon in my hand.
What's that? What's his name? Played George. It's George Bailey. That's not the name.
James Stewart. James Stewart.
Yeah, Jimmy Stewart. He was in that. He played the guy.
Yeah.
Legendary actor.
Yeah, Rear Window is so good. It's one of the best horror films because it's low key a horror film.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just saw someone post their review for Avatar. And they only gave it 3 out of 5 stars, and I'm really close to unfollowing them.
Well, I mean, maybe what if it is a letdown, man?
No. This was their first This was the first Avatar.
Oh. Okay.
So I was like, "What's wrong with you?" So right now I'm looking up Rear Window because I think it's not Jimmy Stewart. I think it's. Is it Jimmy Stewart? Yeah, it's James Stewart. Mm-hmm. Grace Kelly. Yeah, it's so good. It's the 61st best movie of all time on Letterboxd. Which is fun.
Yeah.
It's just very good. It's one of those movies that's like super entertaining. It's a great murder mystery, kinda suspenseful. I love movies that are all taking place in one location, as you'll see in my next movie, as well.
The Room.
Yeah, The Room.
What have you? Oh, I already made that joke.
Yeah, you made it in that last episode.
Yeah.
But no, it's a great movie.
This might get some eyebrows raised. Number 8 for me. Well, again, no particular order. But I have this categorized as the best horror movie. I know Psycho would fall into that umbrella a little bit, but I think
traditional horror.
Yeah, traditional horror. But this is more like visceral, kind of exploitative horror. I don't know. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, 1974, Tobe Hooper, and I recently did a review of one of the sequels of this movie on my main series. I got captured by a Nintendo 64 cartridge. It's a long story. You don't need to know the details. You don't watch my show.
No, I don't.
But I commented I commented on how I believe the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, is the best horror movie ever made because it's the most realistic, most visceral threat. It's just a group of it's a family of cannibals living in the middle of nowhere who can easily pick apart someone and lure them out to where there's no communication.
Yeah.
And it's it was shot on a low budget, but it uses that to great effect because it makes you feel like it's a gritty documentary. It makes you feel like someone's actually recording these people getting captured and killed.
Yeah.
It's terrifying for more reasons. And even though the name is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's not bloody or super gory or violent. It's it's more psychological. It makes you connect the dots. It makes you kind of it has you meet them halfway on it. Because my dad, when
it's implied. There's lots of implied horror.
Yeah, and the set direction, again, I heard that set was a nightmare to work on because it got hot and all the props started to smell funky because they were made from rotten meat and stuff. Yeah. And I remember my dad remembers watching that movie the first time, and Leatherface goes to hang one of the victims up on the meat hook, and even though you don't see it, it's implied the way it's shot. He swears remembering seeing that meat hook actually going through and he remembers it being more violent than, and I think that's
yeah.
I think that's the good hallmark of a good horror movie is when you're made to believe.
That's why the first Saw is so good because there's lots of implied horror.
I could have, again, it's. I think it's. I don't know.
The movie I prefer over that because they're very similar. X.
I mean to see X and Pearl.
You love X. Pearl is you probably aren't gonna like Pearl.
Isn't that the prequel?
Yeah.
It came out the same year, right?
Yeah. Pearl is the better movie. I just think that you're not going to like it as much as it's simplistic. It's not a slasher. It's a character piece. It's I don't see you liking it as much as you're going to love X.
Yeah, I gotta give those movies a watch. But yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original.
Yep, I'm not the biggest fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. To be honest, I own it. I own the steelbook. I
just think again, it's.
No,
it's a believable horror because it feels like a documentary.
Yeah. For me, number 9 is 12 Angry Men. Like I said, I love one location films, and this is a one location film. Mm-hmm. Have you seen it?
I know the story. I don't think I've seen the movie.
You would love it. Basically, for those who don't know, there is
12 angry men.
12 jurors in a room deciding the fate of a man if he's guilty or not.
I know the original 12 incompetent jurors, what it was originally called or something.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
No, I just don't know. I just didn't know. 12 Angry Men is just so good. It's some of the best acting I've ever seen. It's maybe my pick for the greatest screenplay of all time. It's just so good. The Criterion's very good. It's great transfer. I really love 12 Angry Men, dude. This is another one that's maybe a little personal but I still think it's just so good. I don't want to get into spoilers, so I'm not going to.
Fair enough.
I think you should see it.
All right.
But what's your number 9?
Well, you might be surprised this got in over the original, but best musical, the recent remake of West Side Story.
I haven't seen the original.
You haven't? You haven't?
I have not.
I've seen bits and pieces because I wanted to be sure. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. But I've heard the original music compared. I just think West Side Story, Spielberg, and
Spielberg.
Because he goes all out for these productions.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg is one of the greatest directors working.
I think this is just a very fun musical. And at the heart of it, it's kind of a Romeo and Juliet story.
It is Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, basically. So I guess I do have a Romeo and Juliet story on mine as well. Yeah. And because when the original was made, they did their best with what they had, and it's still regarded as a classic. But this one was
won
made...
Best Picture, dude.
It won Best Picture, yeah. So, it still did well. I'm not going to disregard that. I still haven't seen the original in full. But this remake, it was made so recently that they can utilize, new features and everything. There's new advancements in technology. They can use more sets, more props. It's more bigger in production and scale. Also, Rita Moreno was robbed at the Oscars.
I agree.
Because she's one of the legacy actors who returns to this new one. She's like the motherly figure. She gets her own song. And she's in her 90s, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Dude, have you seen that trailer for the new movie called 80 for Brady?
No.
Is it? She's in. Oh,
yeah. Well, I've seen the poster for it. They go to meet Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, yep. And it looks so terrible, but I'm so excited to see it.
It sounds silly. Sally Field's in it. You really like me, don't you? But yeah, if you haven't seen the remake of West Side Story, I believe it's one of the best musicals ever made. I'm kind of a musical guy. Not really big on it, but I've been
I know why. Dude, Ariana DeBose won. Ariana DeBose won the Oscar last year for Best Supporting Actress.
Oh.
So basically, the character that won an Oscar, Rita Moreno's character in the original West Side Story, that same character won the Oscar in the new West Side Story. Oh. But I did nominate Rita Moreno. I ended up giving it to Ariana DeBose personally.
All right. But yeah, West Side Story for me, and then let's get to your...
Number 10. Your Brighter Summer Day. This is my Romeo and Juliet. It's a 4-hour Taiwanese film. Mm-hmm. It is very hard to watch. It is beautiful. It's about so many things. For me, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to give you number 11.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a bonus pick. There was this or Parasite. Parasite's so good. Have you seen Parasite?
I'm sorry, I haven't.
You're a loser.
I know. Well, I remember that. I remember when it won Best Picture. I'm like, I've never heard of this film. I remember because South Korea, not North Korea. I'm gonna stop right there and just stop mentioning that. But media from that country is doing really well. Squid Game, Parasite, Minority, Train to Busan. Yeah. My buddy Jim from our Let's Play channel, he showed me. I watched 3/4 of this horror movie called Ganjiam.
Yeah, I watched some of that with you guys.
Oh yeah, you were there. Yeah, we didn't finish it because it was late at night and I had to go to bed. But it was good. I feel like they just know how to make movies.
Well, no, it's one of those things where every country knows how to make movies.
It seems like all the good, all the great ones that I don't hear about come from that.
No, because there's good movies in France. There's great movies everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
It's just think about what Bong Joon-ho's host said. If Americans can get over their fear of 2-inch subtitles, they would be awakened to so many great films. That's why I love Brighter Summer Days. I wanted to get a foreign film on there. I know I put Portrait of Lady on Fire, but Brighter Summer Day is just so good. It made me cry. It's heartbreaking. It's so good. It's 4 hours though, so yeah. Yeah. I'm also going to throw another honorable mention on there. The Human Condition. All right. It's 9 hours. It's so good, dude. It's so good. It's one of the hardest movies.
Guess I'll order some takeout.
Yeah, I watched it over the course of 2 weeks. Watched it an hour at a time because I couldn't do it all at once.
I think the only exception I made for a long movie was Hamlet. And
Avatar: The Way of Water.
And the Hobbit trilogy, but that was a waste of time.
And Lord of the Rings. You gonna watch Lord of the Rings with me?
Yeah. I've seen the first Lord of the Rings. I don't know. I guess I was burnt out from the Hobbit because I just watched
The Hobbit is so bad.
they're looking back, it is boring.
I love your number 10 pick, by the way. Let's get into your number 10.
Number 10 for me, I think it's the best independent movie. No.
It's not. That's such a bad thing.
Well, I'm out, everybody. No.
That's so bad.
I don't know how to lead into points better. I need to get better.
You're good. You're good. It's just that was not it, Chief.
No, but I think...
What's a good movie?
Chef.
What's a good movie?
What? Chef. Directed by Jon Favreau. Because he's doing his own thing. It's a movie that he made. It's a movie that he wanted to make. And it's a love story about filmmaking. And I know at the end of the day, it's a movie about food.
It's Ratatouille.
Ratatouille, basically. It's a love letter about the characters of chef. He's making food. He wants to pass that on to his son. He has a strained relationship with his wife that kind of softens up. But it's not about food. Let's be honest. There's grander subtext at play. Yeah. It's actually about a filmmaker who got burnt out of filmmaking. And I've heard it's basically Favreau commenting on his time when he was directing MCU movies. Because he did the first Iron Man, and he wanted to make another Iron Man his way, but then MCU they were like, well, we want to build a universe. Here's production notes. And then he left on acrimonious terms. He started making his own movie, and he wanted to make his own movie that people would love. And Chef is well loved because it kind of mirrors that. Where he works in a restaurant, and he has some big.
I never thought about it that way.
Right?
I love that movie. I just never really dug into it deeply.
Because he helps put this restaurant on the map, and when he wants to try new things, the restaurant kind of boots him out basically, and he has to go and make his own thing, and then people love him for that. It helps that Scarlett Johansson or Robert Downey Jr. are in this movie. Yeah, it's kind of like wink and a nod, nudge nudge.
That's funny. And
I remember again, this is a movie I actually recently watched Chef, and I just remember loving it because it's just. There's nothing grand in scale about it. It's just a very, kind of family environment, society. Not society.
Very slice of life.
Slice of life. That's what I was trying to go for. John Leguizamo's also in it too.
Very good in that movie.
Yeah.
I love the scene where they make cubanos.
Cubanos, yes, that's good.
So good.
Yeah, and he's taking his son aside, and when he's like, "Hey, look, I get that we're getting busy. You just want to shove food out, but we got to put the same quality into everything." And it's a nice message. Don't You could go your whole life just doing what people want, but when you stop and put effort into something and make it your own.
We had planned a Jon Favreau episode.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this was back when
during season 1. But we had planned one.
Yeah.
And so I would still have to do with it one because I love Jon Favreau. Yeah. I think he's a really great director.
He is. When he puts on his A game and he's not shelling out for a big studio, he can be he's really good. He's also the reason why The Mandalorian is good. So I've heard. I need to set apart time to.
I think it's more Filoni, but
all right. Well,
he still does pretty well for himself.
Yeah. Bits and pieces. All right. Well,
I have nothing else to say.
Nothing else. We've spent 2 episodes being really positive for the holidays.
Next time we're going to talk about our worst movies ever made. No, I'm kidding.
Morbius. I was thinking about actually doing a bit where I pull up my best list and it's just I have Morbius.
Just Morbius 10 times.
But no, we should talk about that. Does that fall under the umbrella? Because we did our top, our favorite Spider-Man, ranking all the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It takes place in the Spider-Man universe-ish. Yeah. Would that fall under that umbrella?
Yeah, I would put it. Because we put Venom in there. We ranked Venom, so I would.
Well, that's more because he's more taking off of Spider-Man. Morbius is kind of more of his own thing. No. I don't know. We'll maybe do a Morbius episode. Who knows?
We will not.
Okay.
I'm not watching that movie again. I watched half of it.
Well, we could talk about it. You don't have to watch it again.
I'm not gonna. No, because then I have to watch it again.
You don't have to watch it again.
I have to watch it.
Were you there when we watched Morbius at my birthday party?
That's all I've seen of Morbius is that.
Okay. You didn't even watch all of it. But whatever. It would have been a fun movie to talk about. We'll talk about Halloween Ends next time. A misunderstood classic.
Oh, that'd be a good one. I have to watch that one again. I don't know if I'm in a mental state for that.
It can be. I mean, yeah, you have your.
That would make me really sad.
You have your own qualms about it.
That made me really sad.
We're rambling on here.
Yeah, we are.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we'll talk after.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's been great bringing back the Multiverse of Madness. We hope you stay tuned for what we have coming next. I've been Trent.
I've been Beau for a little bit.
And depending on when you watch this, have a good morning, good afternoon, a good evening, and good night.
Love you.